Are you planning a trip to Italy? Well, today we are going to share with you a few things that are different in Italy from what you'd expect in North America. Andrea and I live in Italy, and actually, you were born
Born
in
in
Italy.
Italy.
And we travel around the country all the time. And for this reason, we want to share our knowledge about Italy with you so that you can have your best vacation here.
So let's begin.
Hi, everyone. I'm Rick.
And I'm Andrea, and today we'll tell you a few things that are very different in Italy compared to North America. So you can be prepared on your next trip to Italy. But first, if you like travel-related videos like this one, why not subscribe so you will never miss any future videos?
Right. And also, some of your friends might appreciate the content as well. So maybe consider sharing it on Facebook, social media, and just spread the love, right?
Absolutely. So let's begin our list of things that are different in Italy versus North America by talking about measurements. Italy, like the rest of Europe, is a metric country, and for this reason we use meters, kilos, centigrade, and liters. You have to keep this in mind when you travel in Europe, and in Italy in particular. This is particularly important in a few instances. For example, if you check the temperature outside and you see that it's 37 Celsius, this means it's hot. In fact, 37 Celsius is around 100 Fahrenheit. Or another instance can be if you go to the market and you want to buy something, let's say apple for example, you will need to use kilograms and not pounds. Also, if you're going to drive in Italy and you go to a gas station and you want to gas up your car, you have to think that the price is per liter and not per gallon. If you buy clothes or shoes in Italy, most of the big brand stores display sizes in all different measures, North American and European. However, if you go to a more artisanal boutique, you will have to use metric. And for this reason, you might need to get some help from the vendor.
Absolutely. And last, if you're planning on driving in Italy and in Europe in general, definitely be careful of the speed limit because they're posted in kilometers and not in miles. It would be a lot more fun if it was in miles, but no. Okay, so let's move on to our next thing that's different in Italy from North America, and we'll talk about the time. In Italy, we use the 24-hour clock, and it drives me crazy. Now, I think it's called the military clock in North America, and that means that 1 p.m. is 1300 and 5 p.m. is 1700. Now, this is very important to know, particularly if you're planning on catching a train or a plane. If you see your train leaves at 900 or 0900, that means 9 a.m. Otherwise, it would be listed as 2100. So be careful because you don't want to miss your train or your flight. It's also important if you buy tickets for an attraction. Today, oftentimes they have a dedicated time slot. So make sure you understand if it's, 8 a.m. or 1700, what is it exactly?
So let's explore our next difference in Italy versus North America, and we talk about voltage. Italy, like the rest of Europe, uses 230 volt for electricity. This means that some of your appliances will not work properly here, or worse, they might burst into flame.
That would be funny.
Not really. This is especially important for items like air dryer, curling iron, or irons, and other small appliances that generate heat. So before bringing them here, make sure that they work here and check that they have a sticker that says both voltage. Or even better, use the blow dryer that is in your hotel room.
Exactly. Save the weight in your
in
your
suitcase. Electronics such as small cell phone, cameras, tablets, and computer usually have a built-in converter, and they will work all over the world. You might need a plug converter, but it is very easy. Also, in many hotels nowadays, you will find a lot of USB outlets that charge your phone or tablets built in the wall.
Yep, definitely. All right, so let's move on to our next difference that you'll find in Italy versus what you might find in North America. And this is something I talk about a lot, and that's sales taxes. So when you go to buy something in Italy, and actually in most European countries, the price that you see on the wall or the menu is the price you pay.
The menu?
Yeah, the menu. Let's say you're in a restaurant, right? If you're in a restaurant, you might see an item, 10 euros, the bill comes and it's 10 euros.
Yes.
So yeah, sales taxes are included, and the price tag shows you the final price you're going to pay on that particular item. So if you're comparing prices between your own country and Italy, and it seems that it's more expensive here in Italy, well, keep in mind that in Italy, taxes are already included, so you might have to factor that in first.
Now it's time to explore another thing that is different here in Italy versus North America, and we talk about returns.
Right.
Doing a return in Italy can be a bit of a complicated matter. Every store has a different return policy, and some stores are very easy to deal with, and others are incredibly complicated to do a return.
Yeah, they just don't want you to return anything.
Pretty much. As a general rule, it is usually quite easy to do an exchange for size, color, or a defect, as long as you have your original receipt called the scontrino fiscale in Italian.
Yep, so you have to keep your receipt.
Yeah. If you want to do a return something just because you don't want it anymore, or because you change your mind, this may be the more complicated matter, and sometimes it's kind of impossible.
Yeah, it's not like it is back in the States. You
No.
don't like it, return it. Doesn't work like that here.
As you mentioned before, some large store chains have no problems to return and giving you your money back, while others are very difficult and they don't even give you cash, they give you a gift card instead of the full refund. So if you're going to buy something in Italy but you're not sure that you want to keep it, ask about the return policy in advance.
Absolutely. Now, moving on to our next thing that is different here in Italy versus North America, and we should probably talk about tipping, right? And that's not the city in China in this particular case. So, the first thing, tipping is not required in Italy. In fact, waiters and waitresses receive a salary, a real salary, so they don't have to work for tips. However, it is customary to leave a few euros, like 2 or 5 euros, if the service was really good. At hotels, for example, if the porter helps you, it's a courtesy to leave them 1 or 2 euros per item, but it is not required. You do not need to tip taxis, hairdressers, and baristas. In fact, if you pay by credit card, most credit card machines don't even have the option for tipping. Actually, we say most. I don't think I've ever seen it. Now, if you want to know more about tipping in Italy, in depth, you want to deep dive on tipping, check this video, up here.
Our next thing that is different in Italy versus North America is regarding dogs. Dogs are pretty much allowed everywhere in Italy. This might sound strange for you, but in Italy it's very common to see dogs at restaurants, coffee shops, shopping malls, pretty much everywhere.
Yep.
Also, most hotels now are dog-friendly and allow pet owners to bring their own dog with them. Like it or not, this is the way it is, and there's not much can be done. So be aware and be respectful.
Absolutely. So let's go ahead and explore our next thing that's different here in Italy versus what you might expect in North America, and we'll talk about the smoking laws. All right, smoking is still quite common here. Unfortunately, smoking cigarettes in Italy is still very popular, especially among the older generation. Now, people smoke on the streets, they smoke outside at coffee shops and outside at shopping malls and so on. And practically smoking is allowed everywhere outdoors, except, there's a few exceptions. For example, public parks and some beaches. And that means that even restaurants have tables outside that allow their patrons to smoke. Now, if the smoke bothers you, your best option is to ask for a table inside where you can be sure nobody will be smoking.
Absolutely. Moving on to our next thing that is different in Italy versus North America, and we talk about the alcohol laws.
What alcohol laws?
Drinking in public is legal and totally fine in Italy. It is not unusual to see people in the summer drinking a beer while walking on the streets because it's very hot.
Perfectly normal.
Also, it is legal to drink at the beach, in public parks, at the sports event, in pretty much everywhere. However, it is very uncommon to see Italian drunk in public.
Yeah, that's brutta figura.
Yeah. In fact, being drunk is considered really bad manners and quite rude. Drinking in Italy is a social activity where people sip wine or spritz while talking and socializing. However, people know their limit and they stay within it. The legal drinking age in Italy is 18, it is illegal to sell alcohol to people younger than 18.
Well, folks, these are the major things that you'll find different between Italy and North America. And obviously, there's going to be many other things that you might find different. And we want to know, actually, in the comments below, what you find different. But as a tourist, I think these are probably the most important ones. And as usual, if you do have any questions, leave us a comment. We love to hear back from you and answer your questions the best we can. Also, when you do go back home, let us know how your trip went. You know, what did you like? What did you didn't like? What would you have liked us to talk about?
In the future, yeah.
Yeah. And of course, if you happen to see us out and about, don't hesitate to say hello because we love to chat with you and meet you all.
Until then, we'll see you on our next video.
Ciao.
Ciao.